Hi everyone, it's Missy, and today we're going to make gluten-free lasagna roll-ups. It is always your responsibility to make sure that your ingredients are gluten-free, so your recipe is gluten-free. We will be using 9 lasagna noodles, 1 pound of ground beef, some Prego pasta sauce, a tub of ricotta cheese, Pam cooking spray, tinfoil, utensils, a baking pan, and a baking sheet. I use Tinkyata gluten-free lasagna noodles and cook them according to the directions on the box. I also cooked the beef until it was brown on the stove. I have about half a jar of Prego sauce and I only had about half a container of ricotta cheese. What you're going to do first is take a noodle, lay it down on either a cutting board, I'm using a baking sheet, and then spread your ricotta cheese over the noodle. I found when creating this recipe it was easy for me to scoop the ricotta cheese with the spoon but then use my fingers to press it down on the pasta, simply because it's a kind of a sticky cheese. And you want to make sure when you're spreading the ingredients on the pasta noodle that you leave approximately 1 or 2 inches of space at the end of the noodle, because when you roll it up, the ingredients are going to squish to one side. Then you want to take your pasta sauce and spread a thin layer over the ricotta cheese. I found it was easy to use a fork for this, but you could also use a spoon or a knife, whatever you feel comfortable with. And don't worry if this doesn't seem like a lot of pasta sauce to you. When you bake it in the oven, you will be adding more. Then you want to take your cooked ground beef and sprinkle it over top of the tomato sauce. This is where I like a cookie sheet, because if these chunks roll, they won't be rolling all over the counter like on a cutting board. Then you want to fold over your noodle and then begin rolling to one side. After you have rolled this noodle, you want to take and put it in a baking pan that has already been sprayed with cooking spray, and you want to make sure that it sits in the pan seam side down. And I'll show you how to do another one. And if your pasta noodle is torn, don't worry, this will still work. I actually had a pasta noodle in pieces that I pieced together, and it still held. You just need to be careful when you spread the ingredients on it not to tear the pasta noodle further. I'm coming from the other side this time so you can see on the end how much space I leave before I roll up the noodle. You can also do some variations with this recipe. I actually adapted this recipe from the Betty Crocker Make Ahead Meat Lovers Lasagna Roll-Ups that was featured in their 2015 calendar. Some ingredients that they had was, instead of just using ground beef, they used pork sausage with chopped onion. And then to the ricotta cheese, they included 1 box of Green Giant frozen spinach and 2 teaspoons of dried basil leaves or Italian seasoning and 1 egg. It's whatever you want to do, however you make your lasagna. Normally, you can pretty much make it into a roll-up form and freeze it. After you have finished rolling up all your lasagna noodles, you want to cover the baking pan with tin foil. And this will go into the freezer for 30 minutes or until it's firm. Once you take it out of the freezer, You can put it into an airtight container. I'm using a 1 gallon Ziploc bag because I found in my 8 by 8 inch baking pan it fits 9 roll-ups. This is also the same size as my gallon Ziploc bag. And as you can see, when I'm placing my pasta noodles in the bag, you will see some pasta is torn. The one in the upper right hand corner is torn down the center. The one next to my hand there is the one that I pieced together. It looks like I put the seam side up, but it's like 2-3 pieces that I pieced together. And you can see it holds well when it's frozen. And when we bake it, it's not going to make any difference either. So you want to continue pulling apart the noodles. I had them packed pretty well in the pan so that way they held together. You just want to be careful that you don't tear them apart. And if they don't feel firm to you, if they feel like they're falling apart in your hands, just pop them back into the freezer. And these can freeze up to 3 months in your freezer. It's a great make ahead meal because all you have to do is pop them out of the freezer, put them in the refrigerator to thaw for about 8 hours. So you want to take them out in the morning, put them in your refrigerator, and then you can put them in a greased baking pan. And what you want to do is add some more tomato pasta sauce over the top of the noodles, and also I added some shredded mozzarella cheese on top of that, and you get your nice hot lasagna dinner. As always, please comment in the field below, and if you want to see any other recipes, please send me a message or a comment and I'll try to get some more up here. And if you have any other recommendations or techniques that you think would be better than what was shown here, please also put them in the comments below so others can learn how to make this recipe tailored to fit their needs. Thanks for watching. Bye.